Hi, my name is Gina Paulhus, and I'm the owner of Homebody's in-home fitness training. I have a special treat in store for you today. We're going to learn some abdominal movements that you can do whether or not you're a beginner exercise or more intermediate. And I'm also going to help bring you through a circuit workout where you're going to go through the moves, move after move after move, to make sure that you're getting all of your abdominal muscles strengthened in an efficient way. Now, of course, abdominal muscles are important because they're an aesthetic thing for our body and our stomach's going to look better and all of that. But the other thing that's important to know about abdominal muscles is they really help support our back. And the back is a really common area where people suffer from discomfort. So by strengthening your abs, you're going to look better and feel better. And it's going to be awesome. The great thing too about this workout is you're able to do it right at home. So let's get started. The first move that we are going to do is a great move to help warm up our core, and it's going to be a hands and knees abdominal brace. So what you want to do is find a spot on the floor, and you'll be set up in a hands-knees position. As you can see, I'm here. Now, you want to have your elbows soft so that they're not locked out straight like that. And what we're going to do from here is take a great big breath in, trying to feel our sides and our back ribs move. So I'll do that right now for you. And when I breathe out, I'm going to feel my abdominal area coming up towards my spine just a bit. Now we're going to hold that contraction in the front abs as we breathe again into the sides and backs. And breathe out. While I'm doing that, I'm thinking about stretching long through my neck. So that's the more beginner way to do this move. And if you want to try the next level, what you can do is you can do all of those things, but you're also going to pop up onto your toes like this. So definitely run through the first one before you make your decision to move on to the more advanced exercise there. So the next exercise that we are going to do is called dead bugs. For dead bugs, what you're going to do is lie on your back, and you'll see that I've got my knees up and my feet flat here. So this is once again a move in which you're going to want to do an abdominal contraction. So you can put your hands on your rib cage to feel what's going on. We want to take a nice deep breath in and feel our ribs move out to the sides as well as our back ribs moving. And then I'm breathing out. Now that I'm braced and this is firm here, I'm going to go ahead and lift a leg and put it back down. Then I'll try my other leg. You can take a breath whenever you need to, and I'll recommend that you'll take the breath and then you'll go ahead and do your leg lifts again. The higher you lift your foot, the more challenging the exercise will be. But if you let your knee come way in towards your chest, you're actually going to make it easier. So we don't want to do that. Now, if this is pretty easy for you, what you can do is you can actually continue to breathe as you lift your legs. So that's going to look more like this. And the reason that's a little bit harder to do is you don't get the benefit of getting to tighten your abs each and every time you go to move your legs. So that's your dead bug. Next, we're going to try a face down plank. And again, there's a couple of variations. The easier variation will be starting all the way down. You're going to go onto your elbows and prop yourself up so that your body's pretty straight from your shoulder towards your hip. But we're going to hold this position and we're going to take some breaths into our sides and back ribs. Now, by taking the breaths while you're holding the plank, you're actually working your abdominals from the inside out. And you're getting a more thorough and more functional workout, meaning that when you go to perform tasks during your day, your back muscles and your abs are going to know just what to do. So if that's pretty easy for you, you can pop up onto your toes. We do want to still keep our knees slightly bent, and then we'll do the same thing like that. So that's our third move. And then the fourth move in our circuit is going to be side planks. So the more beginner version of that is going to be up on a surface. So here I've got my hand on this table, and you'll see that your top leg is forward of your bottom leg. And once again, you're going to take some nice breaths in this position. It's good to have your hand on your side. So I've got my index finger on my side ribs and my thumb on the back. And I'm able to feel my rib cage moving in that position. So the other way we can do the side plank is right on the ground. For that, you'll be on your elbow And you'll see I have my palm up. I like that version because I find that it helps me work my side a little bit better. And you can still see that my top side leg is forward, and I'll be taking some breaths here. So the side plank is great because it helps you work your abs on the sides, which is an area that can be a little bit more difficult to target when we do things like crunches and moves of that nature. So then we can go on to a bird dog. This is our 5th move. So bird dog, you'll recognize the hands and knees setup. I'll take my breath in, out, thinking long neck, and I'm going to lift an arm and then another arm. And this is the easier version. Just like this, and I'm trying to keep my body really still while I'm moving my arms. If that isn't too difficult for you, what you can try to do is add a leg. So I'll take my breath in, out, and then my arm and my leg are both moving. I'm trying to keep my body really still. I'm looking at a spot on the floor right between my index fingers. You see how slowly I'm moving. The slower you can do this, the more you'll get out of it. All right, so the very last move that we'll learn today is called leg lifts. And you will go onto your back. We're going to take our breath in, out, feel our ribs knitting together. Then we're going to extend one leg. Now that might be all you can take, and that's fine if that is the case. But if you are able to, you want to try to lift your leg up like I just did. Then I tap my heel and then bring it back. I'm feeling my ribs and making sure they don't pop up while I'm doing this move. Another good thing you can do with your hands is you can place a thumb on your rib cage and an index finger or middle finger on your top of your hip bones, and you can feel for movement there. We really don't want any movement. So if you are getting movement just extending your leg, I recommend you just do the heel taps and you don't actually go ahead and lift your leg, so that we can make sure that you're getting the core stabilization that we are looking for. So you'll have the option of those two, either the lift or just the extension. So the other thing you need to know about abdominal muscles is that we have a lot of different abs and they do a bunch of different things. Most people are a little bit stronger in their six-pack muscle, which is the muscle that lines the front. The problem with that muscle when it takes over for the other muscles is it can make our belly protrude. And we don't want that, of course. So by working the muscles that are more like the corset muscles, which wrap around, the transverse abdominis is one. By working that, it's going to help us flatten our muscle in our stomach, and it's also going to help us stabilize our back when we're doing tasks during our day, and even when we're working out too. So it's time for us to get into the circuit. So I will time us for approximately 30 seconds, and we're going to bust through these and get a couple of circuits in before we go to the Facebook question, which is also about abs. So stay tuned for that at the end. Let's get started. Okay, so first move is going to be hands and knees. So we're setting up here, and we're going to take a nice big breath in and breathe out, feeling our abs draw up, long neck, soft elbows. And again, breathe in and out, long neck, breathe in and out. Make sure that your body is staying forward and you haven't shifted back. One more of these. In and out. Okay, so we'll move on to dead bugs next. Onto your back, quick, quick, quick. And breathe in and out. Ribs knitting together, and we're going to lift a leg and then the other leg. And we'll continue doing that. You can always take an extra breath between each repetition if that helps you to stay stable in your hips. One more on each side. All right, and we will move into face down plank next. I'll do the kind on my knees. We're just going to hold this here, taking some nice breaths, thinking about having a long neck. You don't want to hide your neck by scrunching back. Taking the breaths, making sure your hips are hanging down, but yet your abs are tight and your lower back is pressing up to the ceiling. Now, if it's too much to keep this pace, feel free to take a little bit of extra rest in between the moves. Totally understandable if you need to do that. We're going to move into side plank next. So it will be on the floor with the hand up. You can, of course, use the table if that's better for you. You're trying to keep your body nice and straight on the bottom, and you're feeling your ribs for the ab movement here. For the ribs expanding and the ribs contracting, your abs doing that work. If it's too much, you can always come down on your knees if that's starting to get too much on your abs, but you want to try your best to hold the whole time, and we'll switch sides. Here, making sure that your shoulder is right over your elbow. And try your best to feel those side and back ribs moving. Check in and see if your hip has sagged down or if it's up way too high. We want that right in the middle for your side plank. Good work, good work. Now we'll head into the bird dog. I'll work with the arm only for this round. Keeping my shoulders over my wrists. I'm thinking of moving my hands straight forward and lifting it up. Try to keep your glutes relaxed here. Unless if you're doing the leg lift in the back, then you can use your glutes for that. But you're really focusing on not letting your body drift to the side. That's your big task here. We'll do one more on each arm. All right, we'll head into leg lifts. Okay, so we'll take our breath in and out, and then experiment with if you can lift your leg without your hips moving or not. So up and down, making sure to tap your heel upon returning that leg. Slow is actually better. You're going to get more out of it, so going slow is good. Feeling for how stable you can keep your legs. Your ribs shouldn't be moving here. The only thing that moves is your legs. We'll go for one more on each side. All right, so we made it through our first circuit. We'll rest about 30 seconds, and then we'll go ahead and do it another second time, and then you'll be all finished with your ab workout for today. It's a great time to grab a sip of water or anything like that before our second circuit starts. All right, let's get started. So if the first circuit you didn't feel was very challenging, feel free to challenge yourself to the next more advanced level that I showed earlier today. So we'll go into the hands and knees, and I'll go for that lifting up one for this. So I'm still doing my nice big breath in and out, and then I'm gonna pop up onto my toes. I'm still doing long neck. And if you're trying this one and you feel super fatigued, feel free to drop back down onto your knees and you can finish up that way. But we're really focusing on those big breaths into the ribs, the sides and the backs especially. Each time we do it, we're drawing our belly muscles flatter. One more breath here. All right, and we can go into dead bugs next. So on your back, palms up. And you can breathe in and out. If it helps you to get the feedback of touching your pelvis and ribs, you can do that. We're lifting the leg and then the other leg, really trying to keep your torso from moving. Good work. Be careful that you're not letting your knee come in over your belly. Keeping it a little bit further away from you is best. We'll go for one more on each side. All right, so it's time for our face down plank. And we'll be starting out flat and then popping up on onto either the knees or the feet, and then long neck. Push a little bit through the elbows so that your body doesn't sag like this. You can look right between your thumbs. That's a great spot to stare at. That will help you with your neck alignment while you do this ab movement. And shaking is normal. That's just a sign that your muscles are getting tired, so don't worry if you're shaking a bit. We'll go for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Now we will go into side plank. Feeling your ribs. Checking for straight body alignment here. And remember that higher surface is totally an option if that helps. Feel free to do that. You're better off doing the movement that you can do with good quality rather than pushing it, not doing it correctly, and maybe even hurting yourself. We can switch sides. So on the elbow with the palm up, taking the deep breaths. If you are on the higher surface, you don't need to worry about palm up. You can have your hand on that surface, that's totally fine. Feeling those ribs move. Thinking about a long neck here as well. Check in, is your shoulder over your elbow? 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, we only have 2 left. You guys are almost done. We're going to go to hands and knees next for your bird dog, and I'll try the full version this time. So I'm going to take my big breath in, breathe out, and I'm going to lift an arm and its opposite leg, making sure I don't let my body spin to the side. Slowly bringing that back down. Think about your legs shooting straight back and your arms shooting straight forward. Nice and slow. You're looking at a spot right between your index fingers, keeping your gaze there the whole time. Make sure you're not lifting your arms or leg too high, because that's going to cause your back to arch, and that is going to shut your abs down, and you won't be able to get them to kick in for you. All right, so that's good there. We'll finish up with the last set of leg lifts. Okay, so on your back, you can have your hands on those hip bones and ribs. Breathe in, breathe out, stretch your leg, tap the heel. We're not lock-legged here, but we're pretty straight with the leg. And then back down. Other side, you're feeling how stable you can keep your core. Nice and slow, extending the leg, bringing it back. No swinging, no kicking, all abdominal control. All right, we'll go for 1 more on each side and you guys will be all finished. Phew. I don't know about you, but my belly is burning now. So that felt really good. So as you can see, once you learn the moves, you can really go pretty quick. You're on the floor anyway. So I find a lot of people when they work their abs at home, they really just dawdle too much and they don't continue to move. And our abs are endurance muscles. They really do work well when we're able to work without giving them a ton of rest. That also helps really set them up for success in our daily life because our muscles have to be able to work for us for long periods of time. If you're cleaning the house or moving furniture around, you're not going to get a lot of breaks doing that. So you really do have to train your muscles to stay in the game and to be able to continue to do movements without a lot of rest in between. So let's check out the Facebook question that came in this month. And it happens to also be about abs. The question was, how many times per week should I work my abs for best results? Well, that question is a great one because a lot of people overdo abs and a lot of people underdo abs. You want to really get in the sweet spot. You want to be doing the amount that is perfect for your goals, but not overdoing it that can potentially lead yourself to injury at worst or a waste of time at best. So for the general fitness plan, what I suggest is thinking about your abs as a strength-based thing, meaning that you generally wouldn't go to the gym or even at your house. You wouldn't lift weights 7 days a week. That's just too much. So abs are going to fall more towards that, whereas things like stretching, going for a walk, even sometimes jogging, depending on if you're in the shape for it, you could consider doing those activities 5, 6, or even 7 days a week. But with abs, because they are a muscle just like our other muscles in our body, we want to be able to give them the rest that they need. Because the way our muscles get stronger is they have to be stimulated to do things with our workout, but then they will not get stronger unless you leave them time to recover. So I'll give you an example. If you lift weights or do strength movements like abs on a Monday, and then you do that again on a Tuesday and then again on a Wednesday, the same exact movements, the same exact muscles, your muscles don't get a chance to recover. Your muscles actually need, on average, 48 hours to actually get to the point where you can perform the same effort and the same movements again. Otherwise, you're going to get weaker and weaker and weaker the more you're doing these things because you're never giving your muscles a chance to grow back. When we strength train, our muscle fibers look kind of like this, and they actually start pulling apart. And the only way we get stronger is if we give them time to grow back together stronger than before. If we don't give them that time, they start pulling more and more and more, and that's how a muscle can tear. Nobody wants a torn muscle or a strained muscle or anything like that. That said, if you're going to do classic weight training, something like that, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you could probably do a little bit more abs than that, and the reason is our abs are more of a slower twitch, endurance-based muscle. Our calves are actually the same. So for muscles like that, you can train them even 4 to 5 times per week. But to keep it simple, my first suggestion is to do them 3 times per week. Do them with your other abdominal and your other strength movements. If you really truly want to work extra on your abs and you want to give that 4th day, fine. But again, it's probably not something I see a lot of people will need. So my suggestion is to give the 3 times per week a shot, leave yourself the day in between, and maybe consider 4 times per week as the upper end. 5 at the absolute most if you're trying to rehab, maybe a back problem or something like that. But definitely 3 to 4 times per week should really do the job for just about everybody. So that is our show for today. I hope you learned a lot about abs and I hope you're feeling those muscles working. I thank you so much for watching. See you next time.